All right, good morning. Sorry, I was reading. There was a message that popped up on the screen. I was getting a message from YouTube. But welcome in. I am Tamaya, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm a relationship coach. Now, you may be wondering, sometimes people are like, why do you do that? Why do you do what you do? Well, I realize that I love to see healthy relationships. I love to see healthy marriages. I love to see healthy relationships. I love to see children, how they function when husband and wife are in sync. They're loving each other well, and they have a good relationship, a good marriage. Communication is happening. They are working together. It just is something that God created. He ordained it, and it's just a beautiful thing when it is being done right. So there's my heart behind this. And I just was reading this morning from Deuteronomy chapter 2, and I noticed that the text was initially about is Moses talking to the Israelites, and he was talking to them about like the land and stuff that God had left. He had given them land to possess, and he was talking to them about it was land that he left for Lot and for Esau. And I noticed reoccurring a couple of times. I saw the words "drove them out," and I was like, what does that have to do with me or relationship stuff, right? Because I'm always talking about relationships, right? About marriage or about stewarding your single season, right? So I was like, what does that have to do with anything? So I'm gonna get to that, but what I noticed again were the words that kept coming up were drove them out. And again, it was like God had land for them, He had possession for them, but they did not just get to just have it, right? Like God didn't just come in and say, okay, here you go, and hand it to them. They had to fight. They had to go in. The people that were already in the land, they had to go in and drive them out. So I want you to think about that, right? Like you already, God has given you something. He has a possession for you. He has something for you. But you don't just get to have it. You don't just get to sit back and cross your arms and put your feet up and say, okay, God, where's my blessing? Right? You don't get to just sit back. It said they drove them out. So again, they had to go in and fight. They had to go in and and go to war to possess, to have that thing that God had for them. They had to face giants. They had to fight. They had to go drive them out, kick them out of their land. They had to go in and remove. They had to remove. That means they had to go in and take out who was already there, what was already there. They had to go in and fight, kick them out, flush them out. So how does that apply to you, right? Because you might be thinking, well, we're not going to go to war with anybody right now to get what God has for me. And you're right, you're not going to go through a physical war, but it may be mental, it may be spiritual, it may be habits, it may be beliefs, it may be things that you have picked up along the way throughout your life, and they are no longer serving you. It could be beliefs, it could be the way that you grew up, it could be stuff that you saw your parents do, stuff that you saw other family members do, it could be movies, TV, social, it could be whatever it is that has an influence on what you believe right now, what you believe, who you believe you are, what you believe you can have, what you think marriage is supposed to look like, what you think, what you, who you are as a person, right? How you would even show up in a marriage, how you would show up in a relationship right now. It all has some bearing, right? Some influence has come in there and put their 2 cents in, right? And all these things have combined together and they form what you believe, what you think. So you have to think about, what do I need to drive out? What is the blessing that God has for me? Again, I'm a relationship girly, so I'm going to be thinking about, like, have you think about, some of you might say, oh, I want a husband. If you're a guy watching, you might be saying, oh, I'm ready for my wife. But is there anything that you need to drive out before you can get to that blessing? Is there anything that you need to push out? You need to clear out. You need to move out of the way before you can have that blessing. Again, is it a belief system? Is it something that you've attached yourself to? And maybe it's a belief that you've attached yourself to. Maybe it's a doubt that you've attached yourself to. You think, I can't do that. I can't have that. I can't be that person. Whatever it is. A lot of things that keep us stagnant and that keep us stuck and keep us from having what God has for us. A lot of it stems from childhood, right? It could be things that was said to us, belief systems that we picked up, words that were spoken to us, words that were spoken over us, things somebody said, and they've stuck with us, they've stuck in us, and they have limited us in so many ways, and you may not even realize it. But whatever it is, I want you to remember these words. They drove them out. In order for them to go and possess what God had for them, they had to drive them out. So again, for you, it may not be a physical war. Like, you're not going to go to war and fight against anybody to get what God has for you. But the fight may look like a spiritual fight, a mental fight, an emotional fight. You may have to fight for clarity. You may have to fight for peace. You may have to fight for get rid of the wrong beliefs, get rid of the wrong belief systems, wrong habits. It may be people in your life that you need to disassociate yourself with, right? It may be friendships. It may be even a relationship that you're in right now that you know you need to end, but you're like, oh, I don't want to offend them. Oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Oh, I don't know. They're going to be mad at me, or they're going to be hurt. I'm going to hurt their feelings. So what is more important? Like, you really have to weigh your options and say, what is more important? Me offending them or me getting the blessing that God has for me? Because you're looking at the temporary, you're looking at right now, and it may look big. It may look like a giant. It may look like, oh, I can't face this. Oh, I can't do this. But you really have to switch your focus, right? You really have to focus on the long term. You have to focus on what is on the other side of this. It looks difficult, and it's like, I don't want to go through it. I don't want to face this giant. I don't want to have this difficult conversation. I don't want to end this relationship, whatever it is in your life. It looks like something that you don't want to do. It looks hard. It feels hard. It feels intimidating. It feels heavy. It feels like I can't do it. But you really have to shift your focus to what is on the other side of that. What is the blessing? What is it that God has for you? What is it that He has that you need to go and take possession of? But you have to go through this first, right? Like, they had to go through the Red Sea, right? It looked impossible. But because they were already in motion, they were moving in faith, God came and opened up a way for them. He opened literally a clear path for them to pass through because they moved in faith. So again, I don't know what the words drive them out says to you. Again, those are the words that kept reoccurring for me when I was reading this morning. I was reading Deuteronomy chapter 2, and the words kept coming up, drive them out. So I don't know what drove them out means to you. Again, it may be wrong beliefs. It may be old systems. It may be old habits. It may be that I'm selfish. I say I want to get married, and I say but I'm selfish. You can't be selfish thinking about marriage, right? Because marriage isn't about what you're going to get or what they're going to do for you. But you have to go in with a heart to serve. You have to go thinking about, what am I going to do for them? How am I going to make them better? How am I going to push them to where it is that they are going, what it is that they are trying to do? You have to do your part. God has the blessing for you, but again, He's not coming and dropping it in your lap. You have to do your part. Again, the scripture kept saying they drove them out. So think about what it is that you need to drive out. What is it that you have to face? What enemy is it that you have to face? What is it that you are at war with? What is it that is bothering you, keeping you stuck, keeping you from moving, keeping you from possessing what he has for you. Don't focus on that thing that looks like it's in front of you. Don't focus on that. Think about the reward. Think about the gift. Think about what it is that he's giving you as a blessing, as a possession. You just have to go in and possess it. All right? So that is the word that I have for you all on today. I hope it blessed you in some way. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you for joining. Karate Bros too. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.